Hey guys, it's Anthony today. I just got back from BSF Long Beach in California. I went with An and Kai and Bongo, and we all had a lot of fun. And I took prison to both singles and teams. And I just want to share with you guys how I did and my deck profile. Let's get into it. So for my ride line, you can run any grade 0 starter. It doesn't actually matter because the grade 1 is when this unit is placed on Vanguard. So I like the Ava ride line. It was my first deck I played getting into the game. So that's what I used. And then for the grade 1, I use Kyanite Cobalt, which is with the new prison. The reason why I use the new prison order is because I like to be able to control my soul a little better. I can soul charge if I need to. I don't have to soul charge if I don't need to. And also I like the fact that if you see the prison order in your hand post mole, or you draw into it for turn before you set it, the grade 1 allows you to refund that cost by placing from hand and then drawing a card to refund the one card in hand that you would lose with the old prison. Another thing is when you go second, with the old prison you would have to rest a unit, so you lose that piece on board for the turn. You can't attack with it or anything, or even sometimes you would rest your Vanguard and lose the drive check. So with that, you don't have to rest it. You set it directly from hand or deck, which is really nice. So you have a little more freedom when you go second. Otherwise, ride line's pretty standard with the Rizet Peach and the Seraph Clearlight. So let's get into the main deck. So I run 3 Seraph Pure Lights, pretty standard. I do run 1 Seraph Clearlight in the main deck. I know a lot of people are pivoting off of this. The reason why I run it is because I just like that it was a big beater on board, and it also replenished your soul and also draw a card at the same time. I will say it only helped me in one matchup. It happened in top 32. So it might be a cut I'm considering in the future. However, it did help me with that one matchup. And then obviously standard, pretty standard, 4 citruses, 4 flawless Lila. I know some people, they like to run it at 3 to have more tech options. I just like 4, it's more shield. Sometimes it also helps you draw some more, farm hand. I just like flawless Lila. It's always guaranteed, nice to have guaranteed 1 from drop, you know. We have 4 Lifeful, that's pretty standard. 2 Welt Kipple. So for Welt Kipple, this is one of the older cards that people used to use with the old prison before Seraph Clearlight and the new prison came out. I used to run Capture Torino for like the mirror match, and also for, you know, the matchups against more peace reliant decks. So I can bot deck and draw, and also self board removal. But I decided to switch to Welt Kipple because I really noticed I really like hand rip. I like ripping cards from my opponent's hand so that they can guard less, or that they need to pay the costs in order to take their pieces back from the prison. So I like that, but if they choose not to do so, then they give me 2 from drop, which is very powerful because when I'm on grade 4 Seraph Pure Light, it's plus 5k to the front row for every 2 cards in prison. So that's a guaranteed 5k to the front row. If I have 5 attacks with 2 citruses in the front row, so 2 restanders, then it's a plus application of 25k power, which is always really nice, and they need more shield to guard with anyway. So it's guaranteed value, and it's Energy Blast 3. It's pretty nice. Energy Blast 3 for either 1 hand rip or 2 from drop, which is extra power. So I always love that. I know people are really iffy on Muna. Well, yes, it's the main draw engine of the deck, or at least it used to be. I like running 2 because I only really need to see 1. So seeing 2 is nice sometimes, and seeing 2 sometimes also will deter my opponent from taking stuff from the prisoner when they don't really need to, just to, you know, so clear it. But typically only seeing 1 is nice. And then Balderade, actually, another option that I notice a lot of people don't really run. There are some out there, but Balderade, what it does, after it boosts, it shoves itself into soul, and then top 5 for a grade 2 or greater unit and add it to hand. So not only is it deck thinning, replenishing soul, and it also pairs well with the Muna, which Sometimes I see, sometimes I don't, which is why I run both of them at 2. It did help me in a couple matchups, but it might be a cut I'm considering in the future. It was just a really nice utility piece is all. And then, obviously, we're going to have 4 security upgraders that grade 4 pure light turn. We have to see it, you know. There's no option, really. And then ace unit. So for ace unit, I just like... So I know some people don't really like running the ace unit. Most topping lists still have it. I like it personally because I like to have that sweet spot of like 6 to 7 energy outlets. So we have that with the 4 citrus, the 2 weld kipple, and the 1 ace unit, which is really nice. So that's why I like it. And always top 5, you know, top 5. Add something to your hand is always going to be really nice. It is top 3 unless there are 2 or more cards in your order zone. But because your opponent's cards count as cards in your order zone, as long as you have 1 in prison, ace unit can search top 5 instead of top 3. So that's always going to be really nice. And for the PGs, we have 3 regular PGs, you know, pretty standard. And the Sanctitude, we do run the Crest Sanctitude because if you don't know, the grade 4 Seraph Pure Light has the triple drive icon. So I wouldn't be able to use the other Sanctitude for free once I hit grade 4. So the Crest Sanctitude generally has more value in this deck than not. And then for this Blitz order, Explosive Melting Heart. This is one of my favorite cards to have in the deck. So especially without Dairy Violet, we're not seeing as much Fluctuate, Buster, Barrage anymore. And Dairy Violet, you know, I essentially lost like 4 PGs from the deck because, you know, Dairy Violet could, if there's 1 or more cards imprisoned in prison, then it could choose an attacking unit and not have it hit, or as long as it's grade 2 or less, which was very helpful into matchups like Heart Liru. So with that being hit by the ban list, I switched to Melting Heart. So Melting Heart, what it does is Soul Blast 1, choose one of your opponent's attacking units. It gets minus 5k until end of turn for each of the cards in prison. So that's really nice into a lot of the decks in the meta right now, especially against Aichi Icon, which without a doubt dominated Long Beach in both singles and teams. You know, almost every team had an Aichi Icon, and I saw a lot of Aichi Icons personally in the singles format. And basically against that deck, Melting Heart, they're less likely to clear the prison because they don't necessarily generate their soul as well. And as the prison player, you're able to limit their CB usage, so it's easier to keep cards in your prison. And with their big Soul Save return, 5 attacks, 2 restanding columns, it's really helpful when you basically just nuke this column, nuke their 0 column, so when it restands it still doesn't hit, or nuke the Ganslot column, which is a bigger number regardless. So I really like this order, and it blindsides a lot of players too. Like they're expecting to try and kill you so they don't call anything from prison, and then boom, minus 50 to that column until end of turn. So it's pretty nice. For my Regalis piece, I like Shroud in Darkness. It's because it's a very good utility piece in general. I do have to have it in hand. It's not something I can play from drop like Twin Cast or Fire Regalis. But Shroud in Darkness, it essentially allows me to, since I'm on grade 4, I don't have to pay the cost since I didn't ride from the ride deck, and I can call up to 2 different grade 2s. So for example, Citrus and Welt Kipple, I can call both of them at the same time. And so that's going to be, just from this one card, I can have either 1 from hand or 2 from drop, plus another from drop. So it's very nice. It helps increase the prison count for more power, or if I need to hit that 10 in prison, it's there. Also, if I don't see my security upgraders, right? If I don't see my security upgraders, say there's 1 in drop because I ditched it earlier, or you know, I just didn't see any more than 1 and I need 1 for a second Pure Light turn, then I can use Shroud in Darkness to call Security Upgrader back to board and retire it to search my deck, drop or hand for another Seraph Pure Light to ride onto, to rip 2 more from hand, 2 more from soul, 2 more from rear, and also 1 from drop for Security Upgrader. It's really nice. And so for the triggers, we have 4 fronts, which I know is kind of unusual. We have 2 shield, 2 soul fronts. I like the shield fronts just because without Dairy Violet, I want to have a little more shield in the deck, and then the soul fronts just to, you know, be able to replenish my soul when I need to. So that's nice. And because I run 4 fronts, I actually only run 7 crits, which I think is okay because, one, your Seraph Pure Light, if you have 10 or more in prison, your front row will gain an additional critical anyway. So there's that extra critical application, but then at the same time, say you're going second or you're playing into a matchup that you know you should CB deny or limit their CB, you don't want to accidentally hit a crit and then not be able to limit them how you would like to. So I think that's okay. And then for the heals, it's pretty standard, 2 regular heals, 2 restand heals, and obviously for our OT, we're going to have Elbow Breath. And so let's move on to how I did in Swiss. So, in Swiss, round 1, I played against Aichi Icon. So, Aichi Icon actually is very, very strong in this meta. I would even consider it BDIF, best deck in the format. Aichi Icon, well, the reason why I like this matchup is because this is why I chose Prison in the first place. The reason why I like this matchup is because they're against a lot. The grade 3 that gets plus 5k for each of your opponent's grades Vanguard, opponent's Vanguard's grade. So say you're grade 3, and so their against a lot is getting plus 15 on swing, and if they have a Blaster Blade in Soul, they can also choose to give it an additional critical just for free. The only cost, not even a cost, but for them to get that extra critical, they're gonna have to bot deck their Ganslot at the end of that battle. But the reason why Prison is particularly good into it is because of the Soul Rip. So because I can take cards from their Soul using Pure Light skill, they need a Blaster Blade in Soul for that skill. And once I rip that out, their Ganslot is just a 13k vanilla, and it kind of just sits there looking pretty, you know? It's very nice, it's very advantageous for me. The only way they can get around it is if they run like a Coco, which I know some players do, Battle Sister Coco, to be able to shove Blaster Blade back into their soul. Because I know some Aichi Icons players, I played it a little bit myself, they also run that in case they miss their Soul Saver, so they would need to shove another Soul Saver into Soul so they can use the Axe skill again. Without Persona riding. So that's what their Coco would be for. But otherwise, you know, usually it's a one-of in their deck. Otherwise, if I go first and I rip that Blaster Blade from their Soul Saver turn is significantly weaker now. A lot of that also is because I can choose to limit their Counterblast, how much Counterblast they get, and I can choose to be higher in damage so they don't heal down, and I can keep them at even numbers for my double critical swing. So if they're at 2 or 4, or even 0, I can, you know, kill them within 1, 2, or 3 hits rather than having them take six attacks before they die. You know, so it's pretty nice into the Aichi Icon matchup. That's actually why I took it. I played into a lot of Aichi Icon. Round 1, that's pretty much how it went. I actually lost the dice roll. You still want to win dice roll with this deck. It's not like going second. Going second isn't the end of the world, but going first is obviously what you want to do. Against Aichi Icon in round 1, I lost that die roll. So I actually didn't make it to Pure Light, so I wasn't able to rip their Blaster Blade from their soul. They were able to kill me on their first Soul Saver turn. I just didn't have the shield for it. It kind of sucked. So I lost round 1. Something I wish I could have done better was go higher in damage, which sounds kind of weird because I died before I could get to Pure Light, but because they healed down, it was kind of harder. I wish I kind of done that and swung rears more often, but I was also getting used to the matchup as well. This was actually a last minute pick too, which is kind of funny. Round 2, I won versus Aichi Icon. I also won the dice roll, so that's 2 Aichi Icons in a row now. I won the dice roll, and I went first. I was able to do my thing. I pushed them to 4 damage by the end of my grade 3 turn, so assuming I could hit 10, which I was very confident in doing on my next turn, my grade 4 turn, they would have to guard every single attack, because if they're at 4 damage and everything is double crit, everything's going to be lethal. So they would have to guard 4 or 5 attacks and not be able to eat a single one. So that's what I did to that person. I will say I should have asked for his columns, because he did soul blast the blaster blade for the prison, and if I knew that, I would have realized that his Ganslot was less in power, so he soul blasted his own his own blaster blade. I didn't actually rip it from him. So if I realized that, I could have saved the ace unit in my hand, so that I could guard his turn more properly, because I would have known his Ganslot was less in power. But in the end, it didn't matter. I ended up winning, and so that was that round. So we're now 1-1 against Aichi Icon and in Swiss. Round 3, I played against Blangmeyer Nexus. Blangmeyer Nexus is a matchup I'm very comfortable with. It is kind of annoying because they can bind 2 from my board, but Bongo actually plays a lot of Blangmeyer, so I have played into this deck a lot and I'm very comfortable with it. I won the die roll, so I did go first. She said she kind of bricked. I mean, it looked like she bricked a little bit when I was watching her play her turn out. She bricked a little bit, but her deck was still compressing because of those Zamoogs. She saw like a lot of her Zamoogs. But I wasn't really concerned. I left her at 2 damage because I knew that Blangmeyer is a little more counterblast heavy, and so she needed to essentially eat. She was only able to guard 1 attack on my grade 4 turn, because I was able to make sure that there was more than 10. Everything's double crit, so then she'd go 2, 4, 6. And I was right, she wasn't able to guard, and that's how that matchup went. I will say, since I did lose round 1, I'm kind of in a lower bracket run right now, which doesn't necessarily, it makes things a little easier, but not necessarily, especially when I start getting back to the top tables. But against this Blangmeyer, it was okay. I was very comfortable with the matchup, and I think that experience helped me get the win. Round 4. This is an interesting one. I played against Alcasol. So for those of you that don't know, Alcasol is one of the newer decks. I think it came out in Divine Set 12. Essentially, that deck has infinite soul. It has infinite soul, and it can take cards from drop and put them back into the soul, which really sucks as a prison player, because most of my imprisoning pieces come from their drop. And if they have a limited drop, I can't just keep taking, right? So I did lose dice roll in this matchup, which kind of sucked, because normally in this matchup I would counterblast an eye, so because Alcasol needs counterblast to be threatening whatsoever. So normally I would counterblast an eye this Alcasol, ride up pass, and then swing rears if he gave it to me. But with the time constraints in BSF, in any Bushy Road event, I wasn't super confident that I could get it done in time. So I decided, going second, I swung at his Vanguard on grade 1 turn. Unfortunately, I hit my OT, Elder Breath, so it was kind of like a glorified critical trigger. He took 2 damage from that, and now my OT is out, where I was like, oh man, well, it happens, it's Vanguard. But then on his grade 2 turn, he hits his red OT, but he does have a rearguard to apply this 100 mil resand effect to, so I ended up going to 3 damage while he was at 2. I mean, it's kind of fair, we both hit our OTs, now both of our OTs are out, but I was definitely in a worse situation going second, and he was able to guarantee more damage on me with his OT than I was with mine. But eventually it got to a point where he was burning through his CB for the prison, so I was able to limit his CB and until I got to my grade 4 turn, when I needed to go for a big kill turn, and luckily it worked out in my favor. He was 15k shield short, so a trigger short of guarding my turn, and I was able to get the win. He didn't 6 damage heal or anything. Round 5 was against Aichi Icon. So Aichi Icon. So that's my 3rd Aichi Icon of the day. Which is kind of crazy, right? I picked this deck to play into Aichi Icon, and now I'm seeing all these Aichi Icons, so everything's going great for me. This time I did win the dice roll, so I got to go first. It was pretty nice, and I was watching this particular Aichi Icon player play, and it was actually interesting. He had not just the Nebula Knights order, but he had the Warriors Rest order. So for those of you that don't know, it's a grade 2 order, normal order. It's choose 2 of your units, and when they EB2, choose 2 of your units, and when they attack while boosted, they get an extra 10k power. And then you get also extra draw off of the order if you have a certain amount of rear guards. So that was really interesting. He had that for his early rush. It was kind of interesting to see, but eventually he made it to grade 3 Alfred while I was already on grade 3, and he actually hit OT. Luckily I had PG the attack, but luckily I PG the attack, but it was yellow OT. Most Aichi Icon players I know run blue OT, which is the 100 mil, give a crit, and pick up something from drop added to hand. The yellow OT, what it does is it retires the entire Guardian Circle, and all my rear guards, and it draws for every 2 open circles, right? So he just had a huge hand after this, and I was like, whoa, that's kind of crazy. Luckily, my PG, since it's the auto effect that gives my Vanguard the protect and not the PG itself, when it got retired, I was still able to not take damage from that attack, but nonetheless, it was scary. He had put me to high damage, and now he had a huge ass hand from guarding. He had a huge hand from guarding, or from retiring my rear guards and Guardian Circle and drawing all those cards. So I knew that my Pure Light turn probably was not going to be enough to kill him at this point, but nonetheless, I had to try. So we were able to get to 12 cards in prison on my Pure Light turn, and unfortunately, I was right that Yellow T was able to farm him enough shield to survive my turn. So now I'm back on the defensive against his Soul Saver turn, because I went first. So now this is his first Soul Saver turn. So now I'm on the defensive, and I just tried to kill him. So now, right now, he has all the CB in the world, everything he could need. All I'm confident in is him not being able to clear the prison. Unfortunately, I used my PG last turn, which kind of sucked because I was expecting to kill him on my Pure Light turn until that OT happened. So I used my PG the turn prior. I didn't have any PGs in my hand this turn. Luckily, he did try and call some pieces from the prison because I had a lot in there, and he kind of needed it. He kind of needed it, and my Muna from the previous turn that I had placed down was able to draw me an extra card. Which was actually exactly what I needed. It was a trigger. It was a crit trigger. Essentially, he swung his Vanguard, right? I had to 2 to pass his Vanguard. However, if he hit one trigger, then I might have not been able to guard his turn, because if he gave that power to a rear guard or to either rear guard, right, then I actually didn't have enough shield to guard. So what I needed to do was what I decided on doing was 2 to passing his Vanguard, even though 1 trigger kills me. Reason being, I didn't want to 1 to pass his Vanguard, being 1 trigger kills me anyway, and then him just guarantee putting on my Van. So I gave it a 2 to pass, and hoping he would gamble on his Vanguard on first check trigger, gamble on his Vanguard, waste that power and whiff, and then his rear guards still don't have enough. So that's exactly what I did. So his rear guards, so he gambled on the Vanguard with his first critical trigger, and then blanked the next one. So now his rear guards are the exact same, and I guard, and now I have 0 cards in hand, which was fine because now I still have like 8 cards in the prison, and now his hand is gone from my last turn. So I was able to get the win there. That was a very interesting round though. So for round 6, I played against my first Kai Icon. This was actually a very interesting matchup, or at least on paper, but unfortunately this matchup wasn't that interesting of a game. I did win dice roll, and on my first grade 3 turn I hit Elder Breath. So he actually did survive. He was pushed to 5 damage right away, but I hit my Elder Breath really early on there, especially my first grade 3 turn. That's pretty usually that actually kills them. He was able to survive, but because it was only his first grade 3 turn, I just had, I had my normal hand, and he wasn't able to break through, because typically that deck needs a little longer to kill. And then, he's already at 5 damage, and my Pure Light turn, he just dies. It's kind of unfortunate for him, but it's Vanguard, it happens sometimes. Round 7, I play against my 4th Aichi icon of the day. Wow, a lot of Aichi icons, right? I did lose the die roll, which now this makes for a lot tougher of a matchup. Going second into Aichi icon. Yes, I do still get to rip that card, rip the Blaster Blade from his soul if I make it to grade 4, but that's if I make it to grade 4. So my game plan here is to limit his counterblast so that he's more likely to either stay on Alfred or not have his guard restrict on 0 when he makes it to Soul Saver. So that's exactly what I do. I limit him to 1 CB, 2 CB, 1 CB a turn essentially. So he uses his CB for Alfred, and then he uses his CB for Soul Saver once every turn. Because I would just swing Van, and then if I pulled a critical trigger, then I give the crit to a rear, and then just don't swing that rear, so forth, and I just swing their rears after that, right? And imprison the back row. Just try and keep control of their board, and without all the extra CB, it's also a lot harder for them to clear the prison. So that's exactly what I did, and I was able to control his board up until grade 3, where actually, unfortunately, I hit Elder Breath again. So funny actually, he died because of that. So oops. I hit Elder Breath. Yay! So I guess that game plan didn't really fully execute. I just hit Elder Breath. So, but there it was. That was my winning in. So now at the end of round 7, I am 6-1 and guaranteed to be deck checked. I'm at like 24th or something after Swiss. So now heading into deck check, perfectly fine. It just takes a while. We get a nice break after all that Vanguard, and we make it into top 32. This is actually my first time topping a event solo. I have topped BSF before, but like teams format, right? So this was my first time. Topping solo, which I'm very proud of, and it was especially on a deck that I really like. Prison is one of my favorite decks to play of all time. I know I'm a little mean. A lot of people don't like me for that, but I'm sorry. I just really like the deck. Rank 8's always been my nation. But in top 32, so I don't know if you guys have heard, but there was a player playing a stall build at in the top tables of BSF Long Beach. It was a 0 damage Levy Dress, which was actually very interesting. Because the way he built his deck was actually, it countered a lot of the like, the standard meta decks in the room, like Aichi Icon especially, right? So what he would do was he ran the Severin package. So basically it was the Severin package, it was Severin and then a unit that I think Feroid, if it boosts Severin, he can return up to 3 to 4 cards from his drop back to his deck at all different grades. So he would return, you just can't do like a heal or OT, right? So he would return like a crit, a PG, and then some pieces. And then since he was playing Levy Dress, he would just ride up pass. His goal is to deck out his opponent. He's not giving his opponent any damage, and he's bot decking his own, so he won't deck out with the Severin package. And how he would draw more cards, though, you would think that he would run out of cards in hand and can't guard all those attacks. Well, first of all, since he's not giving anyone any damage, all his heals are active, right? So he actually healed 5 times on me, but we'll get into that in a little bit. So all his heals are active, but not only that, since he's playing Levy Dress, he can actually put an Infinity Eyes marker in his back row behind say a trigger unit, right? He was doing it with draw trigger. So let's use my shield front. It's the same power, right? 4k power. If he put the Infinity Eyes marker, right? If he put the Infinity Eyes marker behind this, swing, right? Normally levy dress players would give plus 10k power just for more power, for more lethality, right? But not him. He figured out that you can actually go minus 10k. Minus 10k to this, so that would be -6. -6 plus 16 is his plus 13 is his Vanguard. That would be -7. -7 obviously doesn't hit my 13k Vanguard unless he applies a trigger to it. But because he doesn't run front triggers, he runs draw triggers. When he checks a trigger, he would just give power somewhere else and just not swing with it or swing rears, right? So he was able to swing his Vanguard for his drive checks, essentially a draw engine, without actually dealing damage to me, which I thought was very interesting. But unfortunately for him, his luck ran out. He played into me, top 32, and Prison is kind of just Levy Dress's natural enemy, right? I don't necessarily need Counterblast to do what I want to do, and I don't need... I would prefer to be higher in damage to heal lock my opponent, but I don't really need all that Counterblast, and 3 attacks is fine by me, especially with Seraph Pure Light. Seraph Pure Light scales really hard. It's plus 5k to the front row for every 2 in Prison. So he really just couldn't outmatch that. Basically, a friend told me beforehand, hey, hold on to your security upgraders. Hold on to your Pure Lights. If you see Shroud in Darkness, hold on to it. Because this game's going on rounds and rounds and rounds and rounds now because he's stalling me. He's trying to get me to deck out. And I am decking out faster than, or quicker than the average deck because I am a triple drive deck, right? So basically what I had to do was hold on for security upgrade return, retire, right? Ride Pure Light again, and then so forth. I had to keep ripping cards from his hand and try and make it so that he couldn't, he wouldn't be able to guard until the end of my deck. And then hold on to this in case I run out of security upgraders. Or actually, I couldn't do that. I'm sorry. I couldn't do that because I need Counterblast for that without security upgrader. But I do need the security. So I just need to hold on to my security upgraders, right? And then just proc once per turn. Once per turn, rip 2 from hand. Once per turn, rip 2 from hand. Once per turn, rip 2 from hand. And so forth until he cannot guard me anymore. That's also where Shroud in Darkness helps. It's because security upgrader. I essentially have 5 security upgraders with Shroud in Darkness. So that's how that matchup went. I was able to outgrind him and kill him before he could deck me out. So luckily I made it past him in top 32. Now for top 16, I was playing against one of my friends, actually, one of my friends from Mexico. He was playing Deep Lands, and this was my first Deep Lands matchup of the day. I know personally that this is not a matchup I want to play against. It's just turbo aggro. My hand usually isn't built to guard 6 attacks. It's very high quality, low quantity. But luckily, I won the dice roll against my friend, and I was able to just turbo aggro him back. I was like, well, I'm not going to survive his Persona Ride turn. I better kill him as fast as possible. So that's exactly what I did. I was able to push him to 5. I was able to tri-lane him, grade 2 and grade 3, and push him to 5 damage. Luckily, I hit some crits along the way. I was able to push him to 5 damage after my grade 3 turn. And, you know, that also, at the same time, I healed from 3 down to 2 damage. So his first grade 3 turn, with it being 6 attacks, I was able to survive because I was only at 2 damage, which was really helpful. That heal trigger helped me a lot. And because of that, I was able to kill him on my first Pure Light turn. And unfortunately for my friend, that was where his run ended. But now I make it to top 8. Top 8. Well, if you guys haven't seen the title of the video already, I ended in the top 8. So this is where my run ends. But this is where I play against my 5th Aichi icon of the day. And this guy ends up actually winning the whole event, so shout out Carlos, good job, man. But he essentially wins the dice roll. You know, I have to go back to playing more of the control side of Prison, limiting his CB and whatnot. But then it all comes crashing down. His first grade 3 turn while I'm still on grade 2, he hits OT crit, and you know, with that being said, it's kind of, oh shoot, I'm like at 5 damage now. He actually healed down to 0, so it's like, oh man, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? Like, I did survive that turn, but I wasn't able to claw back, unfortunately. I will say, I kind of messed up. After that OT crit check, I kind of checked out mentally. I was like, oh, this is it. This is where my run ends. I could have still played to my outs by swinging rears, loading his CB, and then farming hand enough that I would think to survive 1 Soul Saver turn, and then trying going for a 2-turn kill. Unfortunately, I didn't really think of it at the time. I was just, oh man, OT crit, which is fair, I suppose. I did check OT more often than I would have during this event. I did get lucky, so it is what it is, but this is where my top cut ends. So I ended 8-2 in total, and 8 wins, 2 losses in the top 8. So I'm really proud of myself. This is my first solo top. Anyway, so let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys would have changed if you liked the video. Be sure to subscribe. We have more videos coming out soon. Oh, and speaking of, in teams, I actually got 3rd place. I'll tell you guys right now. So my one of the guys I went with, he's also a member of DMZ. He was on my team this event, and let's just say we made it to 3rd place. It was pretty nice. So video coming soon. If you want to see that, like and subscribe. Let me know what you would change about the deck list, or or things you would have done differently, or even if you went to Long Beach or you went to a different event, how did you guys do? Just let me know in the comments. We'll see. But until then, we'll see you guys. Thank you. Bye.